like good honey and cream, and I left it in the car. Is anybody interested in that at all?
Honey cream? For what?
For tea.
Oh, no, I'm okay.
For what? Well, you could do whatever you wanted with it. I mean,
Peaches and cream.
Chicka pop. I heard the snack's coming. I was like, hell yeah. I knew there was a big ass bag of popcorn coming up the stairs.
So the shh was just was a joke.
Everything's a joke.
Well, it's quiet up here.
That's a hallucination.
It's all gossip.
Yes.
You able to fold?
There are 3 vessels over here.
If you wouldn't mind just flinging kernels into our mouths, that would be good.
That'd be
That
nice.
sounds good. Can I use these bowls or make some bowl?
Well, we won't
Sure.
tell if you can.
We can use it whatever we want as long as we clean it when we're done.
That's right. You got something healthy.
Yeah, we're broadcasting internationally right now. Lots of stations are tuning in. So careful what you say.
Stop at Costco or,
Oh, I had it in my car for a couple days.
oh yeah,
I like snacks in there for my issues. No.
of course. Thank you.
My soothing issues. You never know. Self-soothing.
Is that blue chicken up on the towels?
It's a catching boom chicka pop.
It's all natural
It's
popcorn.
part of it's their sponsor, right?
It's good. I got,
popcorn.
they have a good, I think it was like caramel, but it's not like really caramel, you know, because it's healthy, but it was good, whatever it was.
Who does blue chicken pop?
Oh, here, I didn't have to do that.
Oh, jeez.
Grocery.
Mhm.
This is pretty exciting.
This is pretty exciting.
It's like camping out. Guys having a last.
Thanks.
Trying to engage someone in this is pretty amazing. From a state of just
Oh,
pure
these things.
complaint and dissatisfaction, and there just being absolutely no interest, and not just that, but a complete lack of understanding of what you're even talking about. That's my favorite part. Like, they're just like, I just don't understand a word you just said. It's like, this is pretty amazing. What part didn't you get?
Oh, they're looking for a launch right?
Don't worry, I'll eat all the popcorn off the ground.
Like Cole Porter songs or something, you know, you have to write a song about falling in love and then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe that's what I should do instead. Here, let's listen to some jazz.
Were you wishing to be helpful to someone, or they were asking you for your opinion about things?
No, I was just kind of curious. And I saw an opportunity and I took it. And I just got, I don't understand a word you're saying. And I'm completely and totally not interested.
Wow.
Just not.
Well, it can sound like a riddle, right? I mean, you know, everything you say just sounds like
There just
kind of.
wasn't any interest.
Hey, this is pretty soothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm feeling a little chicken puppy.
This is pretty soothing.
Really hit. Oh, he hits a spot there.
Good popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Here, let me get these for you.
That
Very-
was good.
Very non-dual.
Don't see Kevin much these days.
He's a Friday night guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
more often than not, listen, Friday,
Not that many people have an interest in.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm confusing them because I thought about that. I was like, well, maybe I just suck at explaining it. No, I really think it's just that when you shift the energy from complaint to this is totally, there's an immediate energy shift when you start to try to engage that kind of conversation. And if they sense it and they're just not interested.
they don't have the receptors.
Yeah, it's just not available.
Yeah.
Complaint is a state, right? It's an engaging condition, right, of mind and encounter.
Well, yeah, and you can define your whole persona. I mean, this was really like me looking at it. It seemed like a 65-year-old version of me, some way. It's like,
Uh-huh. Yeah. No
bizarre.
wonder you wanted to reach out and
She
help.
wants to move to Florida. Yeah, right. Can't wait to get out of here, but kind of likes it here, but wants to go there. And, right.
The 65-year-old.
Hates her job, doesn't want to work. I'm like,
Sounds like
this is me.
sounds like Looper.
It sounds like what?
Looper.
Looper?
Yeah.
What's that?
It was a movie where
Bruce Willis.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a movie where people were being sent back.
Keep looping through the same thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. They want to do what they can. They go back to help themselves out in their future.
Mhm.
True story.
True story.
True story.
I can't remember much of anything, but you're pretty good at
I
remembering.
missed that one.
Huh.
Just not that.
And I'll just remember, like, oh yeah, I saw it. Something. I can't figure out my Buddhist personality is aversive or delusion.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. They say the delusionals have the edge. I mean,
Aversive, right?
the aversives have the edge.
I think the delusions are the opposite. They're so out of it, they can't.
Yeah.
These
They're
groups of
handicapped.
people in the
Delusionals are handicapped.
No,
Yeah.
it's remember we're talking about that Buddhist personality type. Was well done.
I mean, not have been one.
Yeah.
Maybe. They said there was like 3 different personalities.
Jeez. I don't remember.
The Enneagram made simple.
Yeah.
I remember 3 instead of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
9. Yeah.
This is good. This is like a Japanese tea ceremony with popcorn. Very mindful and relaxing.
Yeah.
I need more of a ritual though. Well, we got the fire going, I mean, candles.
We're all set. All we need now is a guru.
What time did they show up?
We should put an ad in, creating community packages.
Desperately seeking guru.
See who shows up.
Yeah, I like it.
We should. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it'd be
Who
fun.
shows up.
Desperately seeking guru, please come and talk to us.
Oh, there'd be a lot of applicants.
We can have like a really sad picture of us.
Yeah.
The lost dog.
That's
Yeah.
right. Bereft of guru sangha,
We need help.
please come.
Just put a picture of Satan up there or
Please
something.
tell us how to feel and what to think.
From time to time, I send invitations to, various people on the circuit. I mean, local people.
Yeah,
Via,
local gurus.
Yeah,
oh,
please
No one's
come.
responded in a while.
Please come and help us.
well, you probably have a reputation by now.
Does anybody come?
I doubt it. Yeah.
Well, Nan
From
came.
time to time.
And the other guy,
Who's the other guy?
Oh, yeah, what's his name?
Bill, maybe?
His name was Hearn or something. Bill or William Hearn.
What about that guy, the waking down guy?
Oh, the Waking Down guy, yeah.
Oh, that ended it.
Alan Morlock or something?
Mhm.
Oh, Morlock.
Yeah.
I went to see Morlock once.
Yeah.
In New Hope.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We were there together. Yeah.
He seems nice though. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Talk about delusional. Yeah.
We did the staring in each other's
Did you?
eyes.
You did?
Yeah.
He was staring in his eyes?
No, he wasn't sitting across from me. I'd make sure of that.
I don't stare at anybody.
I had to do that at Jack Cornfield.
Give him the pig nose.
We could do something like that. We could
We could stare.
Yeah, we should do it California style. You do it naked.
organize our ears or something.
You moon each other.
Hmm.
Ear contact.
Sit across from each other naked and stare at each other.
Oh, no wonder you brought
Each other's gender.
honey and cream. Yeah.
You want some more?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think I'm sufficiently soothed. Thank you.
This bowl shall go empty.
Really?
You have evangelical neighbors?
Yes, quite.
What's their
What's the
Hi.
deal?
what's their evangelicism about?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what. the
You don't know?
affiliation is. I mean, I don't know exactly, but they're just like super duper evangelical and Christian and all that.
What?
Live beside.
How does that express itself? Like, let's say you go to Perkins,
Do they
what's going to
pray
happen?
before they eat? And
Probably, but,
They praise the Lord when they bring out pancakes or something?
well, I
I
mean,
do
if I
that.
was on
I
their
do
mind,
that.
so.
I do that for everything.
They gave Justin a book, my boy, when he was a little kid. As it was like, maybe Darwin didn't not have it all or something like that.
Oh,
You know,
no.
it was like
Anti-evolution.
about scientific, or what do they call it? Creationism? Scientific-
Yeah, anti-evolution, basically.
Is it scientific creationism or something like that?
Mhm.
Or creative scientific, I don't know what it is, but you know, it's.
Oh, like this intelligent design or something?
Yeah, it's like, well, you know, the first
Popcorn?
idea is like,
Here, you want a bowl? You can have mine.
it's like, well, come on, first of all, how could this possibly go all together the way it has without an intelligent,
Yeah,
a God-like intelligence behind it? So, I mean, you know, that's a given.
yeah.
That's where you start from. And then it's like, well, then how could that happen? And it's sort of a reverse engineering. But that's just on that, I mean, yeah. They're just not outside the box thinkers, you know.
Mhm.
I don't know many people who are.
We don't hang out with them very often, but, for whatever reason, they kind of cornered us. And Marie said, oh, okay. He said, oh, man, why didn't you make it like an hour later, you know? Could have gone from one extreme to the other.
Yeah. You can just pretend with each group that you're into that.
Doesn't really matter anyway.
I'm practicing,
Oh no, this is great. Praise the Lord.
I'm practicing my hallelujah,
I just heard
hallelujah.
a nice hymn on the way over on Fresh Air. It's a pretty good hymn.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, did you hear that?
the guitar player?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
The earth isn't my home or something.
Yeah,
Just passing through or something.
just like that a little bit.
Yes.
It's a references to heaven and all that.
Will we be addressing the Gwynedd Friends congregation anytime soon?
Would you like to be invited?
All right, I'd like to be invited just about anywhere.
I think there's no care. Yeah, they'll probably be done.
Kind of. But, you know, I mean, I brought that group a couple times, Ron Deere and Bart and Faith and Betsy.
Oh yeah, Bart. I like him.
Bart's a real smart guy, but boy, he doesn't stay in one place long enough to go deep. He's just boom, idea, boom, boom. And so
Boom, chicka pop.
boom, chica papa, boom.
It could turn out that Bart's actually just popcorn,
He is. He's a popcorn.
reincarnation of popcorn.
Oh, he is something else.
Yeah.
But I got together with my friend Bill, who does the Course in Miracles. He facilitates that. He's the one where I met Joe, the marionettist that came here the one time. And he invited me to get together with him tomorrow, but I really have to work. So I guess he had talked to Joe after he came, and he said Joe liked it, but wasn't sure he quite understood it all. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's a good reason to go to.
Trying, you know.
That's a good reason to go to something once.
Well, he may be back. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be. I mean, you know, this guy was into that Rupert Shiloh?
Sheldrake,
No, not Sheldrake, Spiro.
Rupert Spiro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Murdoch?
The marionette guy or the Course in Miracles guy?
Of course, the miracle guy. He's pretty old. I mean,
He's into Rupert Spira, and he couldn't figure this shit out?
Joe the marionettist. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that he did kind of get it.
That blows my mind. Not really, but.
Well, you know, he's trying to understand, you know, there's terms that he's trying to grapple with. And so as long as he keeps grappling with terms instead of just getting the overall sense of it, you know, people are going to feel incomplete.
Yeah. Well, Rupert's a little bit, academic.
Oh, he is very much.
I mean, he's clear in a sense. I mean, his logic is kind of impeccable, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. He's just, I just feel like he's a smooth operator, that's all.
Having impeccable logic is turned out to be more of an impediment than a gift,
Yeah.
Yeah, because what does it rest on?
Yeah.
I delight in letting go of needing to understand anything.
Phew, boy. It's good shit.
Let's go play.
Boom, chicka boom. Well, we may as well just kill the camera and smoke a joint.
Our government employee isn't here, so we can get away with it.
Yeah.
Who's that? Oh, that's right. There you go.
Unless she doesn't object.
She would.
Well, anyone have any themes? Is there something you want from life that you don't have? Maybe we can help you out. I doubt it.
Does the word try have any value at all?
Try?
Try.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, why not?
I read something from the mentor training manual from this,
Oh, mhm.
this family counselor. It basically said try as a cop out.
So isn't that what, Yoda said, there is no try, there is only do or do not.
Something like that, some sort of action.
Yeah.
Yoda said,
There you go.
There you go.
Well, that's it. Yoda's pretty much the final authority on everything, so
Pretty much.
I'll go with whatever he says.
You might as well just get it all.
I like to go with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
maybe he's the final authority.
Yeah, he is, for sure.
There's an interesting phrase in this movie I saw recently called The Giver.
Hmm.
And there's so much control in this future society
Right.
that has eliminated conflict and
Mhm.
even emotions that go to the extreme. And
Right.
if someone uses languages that's not precise, someone will correct that. Precision of language.
Right.
Precision of language. You need to have precision.
Yeah.
You need to be- Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to eat any more than that.
We'll have to put on a movie.
Do.
Hmm.
One thing that set me a little off balance this week.
Hmm.
Sunday, I misplaced my jacket, and it had my work phone in it. I thought maybe I left it at the Hattery or the Zendan and Nano's,
One of a million places I was at.
or here, Sunday
Yeah.
morning meditation.
All coffee
Sure.
shops.
The only solace I had.
Any coffee shop in Doylestown, basically.
Hey, I live a busy life. I actually have had good work.
Places to go and people to see.
So I call my phone and it's still active, and I'm thinking, well, someone didn't scoff it. They would have chucked the phone or took the battery out or whatever. Still couldn't figure it out. And then Sharon called about some other church business thing. I said, by the way, have anybody have a jacket? Oh, yeah, it's in the church office.
Huh?
You know, Alan had put it there. But the reason I'm bringing this up now is it's the feeling that you have something and it's lost.
Yeah.
And then how it's like, you know, for me, I let it irritate me, but not majorly, but it was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I feel like getting a new phone, and that's a nice jacket. And then the mindfulness thing, like pay attention where you are and what you have on your person.
Hmm.
And then the delight in the fact that it's found.
Yeah,
You know, that was the coolest part.
Yeah.
That, you know, presence. Can presence be, and again, I'm looking at it, I guess, in a utility kind of a fashion.
Sure.
Can't help it. Or maybe I can.
Maybe that's where we should be.
Just don't throw tomatoes.
All right.
Well, we do a popcorn,
Um,
but that you'll just eat.
There you go.
you like
You mean, is there something
something?
at all?
Can I just get something? Anything?
Is there something?
is there something?
Is there something? I guess it all depends on.
There's gotta be something.
You think?
There has to
Where do
be
we find it?
something I can get.
Maybe if we leave now, we'll find it soon.
There's vibration.
Oh, yeah?
With a perceiver, there's always something.
It's good
There's
vibration.
no perceiver.
An assumed perceiver.
Well, it just everything just evaporates very quickly. So
Yeah?
sort of out of sight, out of mind.
But not a lost jacket. It takes a while for a lost jacket to come back.
Forget the jacket. It's the cell phone.
It's nice that somebody said, "Why do you have two phones?" I said, "Well, it was nice to have a spare. Didn't cost me anymore." And so I was able to stay connected. That was another irritation when you lose a phone. You're completely disconnected. You're saying, God, whose phone do I remember in my head? It's like, oh my God, I'm dependent.
Yeah.
You know, what do you call it? Technologically dependent.
Yeah.
And it was like, and there's people like Lutz, he's got a whole printed out list, you know,
Right.
of all his contacts.
Which you could lose.
But the reference point of self connected to other seems to be pretty high on the importance list in my made up world.
Oh, in other words, if people can't contact you or you them,
Yeah.
it's distraction. Yeah.
But that wasn't the case in this cycle because of the spare phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if this relates at all, but there's probably not, probably a total change of subject.
Please do.
But I read occasionally things that, you know, I just read something about Scientology. I was curious, you know, I couldn't remember what some of the things about it I read. And, you know, there's a whole lot of it. I mean, there's a lot of really crazy, goony stuff with it. But the basic gist of it, I don't have a problem with it. And that is true with so many things, you know? I really don't have a problem with where they seem to be aiming. It's the way of getting there that's just so goofy. Now, certainly this whole evangelical thing that I'm gonna have to, you know, be subject to. There's some things that I'm just like, well, that's just, you know, it's not going anywhere. You know, where do you think you're going with this? I mean, it's just like mistaken, you know, something. But there's so many other things that even though they're like kind of weird and stupid, there's something about them that really rings true. It's just that they get lost in the way, you know, in the way they decide to believe and act and all that jazz, you know, it's. This whole thing is really about, what is it, the Thetans, or the Theta?
Yes, Thetans, yeah.
I mean, I kind of like that whole thing, but.
Is that in contrast to the Deltans and the Thetans? I don't know.
Alphans?
I never heard of the Thetans, Alphans, yeah.
Is that like
Alpha, Beta,
Animal
Theta,
House
Delta.
or
Oh,
Into the Nerds or something?
I was thinking
I think,
waves.
isn't it's like the Thetan is your soul, basically, is the way I'm getting. It's that of you that is, it's not this body at all. The Thetan inhabits this body.
Maybe John Travolta will come and speak to us.
If he probably would come automatically, you know,
Or Tom Cruise?
talking about it. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Everyone wants to build an empire.
Yeah. But it seems like there's misguided things, and it's just because they try too hard. That's that word, you know. Misguided, but not intrinsically what I would consider in total error. It's just, you know, you're getting lost along the way. And then there are those things that seem to me to be like totally, man, you took the wrong road, you know? Because it doesn't seem to get anywhere, you know? It's a, I don't know. And just what occurs to me.
I wonder if that's an endless loop because it's content dependent.
Yeah, the stuff
Right.
that,
I need to do these things in order to
Right.
get to Shangri-La. You know, or to
yeah, there's all this
the
stuff.
ultimate, whatever it is, projecting somewhere.
Well, it's the whole development of the belief system, this felt need to develop a list of rules.
Rainy or something? What is that?
No, that's the radius.
Oh,
It's, I guess it's hot water. I guess it's steam. I don't know.
That's how we sound when we expand. Snap, crackle, pop. It's that noise. I'm expanding my consciousness.
This is the sound of your Thetans being released from your.
I thought you meant thespian or what is it?
That's
Thespian.
Oh,
What is a thespian?
tectonic thespians.
one who acts.
What who acts
I mean, in like in the theater.
in the theater? Well, then we're all thespians, I guess.
In
Acting. Baudelaire.
I like that. Very sonorous, sir.
I guess it depends how you define nothing.
It kind of does, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ironic.
What choice do we have?
Define nothing. Well, I have nothing to grab a hold of. Where do you start?
Yeah, really, it's the same as any other conversation we have. It's like nothing.
Same as it ever was.
This is nothing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's not being dismissive of the texture of your present experience. It's just the observation that whatever you make of this from time to time, if you make anything of it at all, is arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
It's an arbitrary assignment.
It's all perspective ridden.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, where does the arbitrary
Yeah, why that?
interpretation come from?
Why that particular brand of arbitrariness? You know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you're sort of programmed that way, right? I mean, you know.
Well, what's arbitrary for you know, an Asian, a northern, southern, Mediterranean, European, the south, the north, the east, the west, the central United States, right? The Canadians, the Alaskans. I mean, everywhere you go, the flavor of arbitrary association with the texture of reality has its own flavor, its own vocabulary, its own language, its own sentiment, its own morphogenic, right, impulses. Yeah.
And you know, when we say arbitrary, it seems to me it's only arbitrary because we can't pin it down.
Okay.
You know, that is absolutely determined. It's just we don't know what the hell determines it. I mean, it's just too complex. It's just this.
You mean like how it arises?
Well, I mean, you know,
Clearly determined in a hot, cold environment.
if all things were known in one moment, you could possibly assume that the next moment could be predicted. You know? But all things
Well, it curiously, you know, defies any kind of logic, right, that you could apply. Because even what it is that's happening, happened, will happen, or let's say there's an interest in some kind of predictability or control over, right, management of the odds. Like take out a bunch of insurance on the World Trade Towers more or less shortly before they are decimated. Someone could say that's kind of like a certain management of the odds, right? Manipulate the markets by virtue of geopolitical events. You know, the high art of insider trading, right?
But they don't got it all. They're just taking a crack at it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. One can relax from the presumed necessity for meaning or any form of arbitration. Without content, it's hard to whip one's apprehension into gear. And psychological apprehension, right, insists on content, on some conveyance, as like what's going to happen to me if such and such, then such and such, if this, then that, right? What's going to happen to me?
Kind of like a weather report. What relevance has it if you're not body-centric?
Yeah,
If you don't
that's
even have one.
If you are body-centric, you can't necessarily fake not being body-centric. So
well, sure, you can fake it to some degree, you know.
fake it.
Hard don't know how successful it'll be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be try to affect a certain sort of, it's all cool kind of thing, but.
Yes,
So, yeah.
yeah,
This body's
If there's-
younger.
Yeah, there's no bridge. It's such a confusing maze or something.
yeah,
Because from what you're saying, is like, it doesn't matter, right? So you could have the, what about me angst? But
Yeah.
it doesn't, you know,
That doesn't amount to much.
it doesn't amount to much. It doesn't mean anything per
Right.
se.
Right. But one can still be symptomatic, right?
Yeah,
Right. Symptomatic means there's, the presence of apprehension and anxiety is not just
yeah,
a passion. Very uncomfortable, right?
Mhm.
Somatically and psychiatrically, emotionally, in whatever forms you might measure your present experience. If one is consumed by apprehension and anxiety and paralysis and overwhelm, right, or various addictive proclivities, which visit upon you without your, signing up for them, then you could say you got quite a mess on your hands.
yeah. I mean, and there are times, but this was again human. Like, there could be like great sadness and despair, but
Oh, yes.
also, there is something mixed about that.
Yes.
A joyful despair
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. We're mixed all the time.
Yeah, mixed all the time.
Yeah.
But doesn't it seem like there has to be some letting go of all that, which means that it's sort of going to drift away a little bit. So if it's not going to capture you, yet you can still sense it, or yet you can still see it. You say, "Oh man, this is sad." I'm feeling sad. So you have this. It's almost like a dissociation, right? I mean, there's this part of you that knows there's sadness and feels sadness, but yet there's this part of you that's kind of just observing that, or is it maybe apart is not the right word, but it seems like if you truly are beyond this attachment of all these types of things and emotions and stories and all that stuff, it's not going to affect you that much,
Well, you would think, like if that Nisargadatta is not going to sound like Woody Allen, probably, Like,
Yeah.
he's not
Right.
doing
that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, Woody Allen might be, who knows, right? We don't know.
Right. Besides falling in love with Mia Farrow's adopted daughter, we can't really say much about him.
Besides making him out to be a total perv.
It's hard to reach any definitive conclusion about Woody
What
Allen.
does he say? He's like, people say, oh, you're going to live on in your movies. And he says, I don't want to live on in my movies. I want to live on in my apartment and watch like Knicks,
That's pure Woody
Yeah.
Allen. He does crack me up. Well, it's funny because, he came off as one kind of a person, and all of a sudden you know about this dark inner
Yeah.
secret type thing. But if you take somebody like R. Crumb, I don't know if you know who R. Crumb is.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep on trucking.
I mean, his darkness was always right out there. I don't know. I have no problem with him at all. And I guess if you're honest about it, that it's a whole different matter than if you're kind of sneaky about it.
It's funny. I was trolling YouTube videos and somebody had the intro. That thing you always say about we're trying to take over the world, thinking something. I thought, yeah.
Thinking of rain. Yeah, did you find it?
No, it was some intro to some random YouTube whatever that came up.
Well, I'm glad somebody also caught on to that. Did something with it.
The real hammer is you occupy your present experience from you could say a transhuman dimensionality. That's the hammer, because everything else just turns out to be humanesque conjecture, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
right. Humanesque fantasy. what ifs and if so's and if onlys.
Yeah, this is what Nisarga Dog was thinking and feeling. This is what Lenny Allen was thinking and feeling.
Right, which is a fun contrast, of course. Yeah.
Human-esque, I don't know.
Like, letting stuff go. I mean, good luck being a human letting stuff go.
Yeah, all right.
Because whatever you let go of is, going to smack you on the back of the head like a boomerang.
Yeah.
Right? Before you've even finished burning the piece of paper to complete the ritual of the letting go. It'll be boom, it'll hit you in the back of the head.
Let it go.
I don't like to take it that far just in case anymore.
Yeah.
Like, let's wait till after lunch and see how I feel.
Right.
It'll probably change by then.
And human mind, whatever that might suggest, is a professional bargainer, right? We're always bargaining. No matter how sure we are of a thing or how committed we feel, we've always got a caveat or a million of them, back. So we might turn out to be a little frustrated because we can't really believe in anything with all that much interest or confidence. And I think the people that do turn out to believe or pretend to believe in things with, profuse confidence or, they're a little frightening to me because that's a kind of you could say, an imposition of a rigidity that forces the otherwise vague humanesqueness into, a certain kind of fixity. So there's a certain violence that occurs when one becomes fundamentally enamored or loyal or superstitious about any one thing. Because the reality of the texture of one's present experience is absurdly, vague and loaded with caveat and nuance, and I'm not quite so sure, and how does this feel? But oh, it's gone, and now what are you? And now I'm this, and so to impose a certain belief system, which is firm and unyielding, seems counter to how the seasons change and how life flows and how the cosmos and the ocean currents and the magnetosphere and everything else just does what it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so ever changing. I mean, or maybe you just
Yes.
continue to let go of beliefs as you go along. And you realize, like, I'm not even going to have a belief because last year I believed this. And
Well, that could be the fun part. I mean, here's the moment where the cosmic delivery person can hand you your get out of belief free card, right? Every moment.
like, I believe I like popcorn. But,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I won't tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah. Right. Well, let's say there are beliefs that emanate from the sense of you. You have certain beliefs. It could be food preferences, could be religious, right? Any manner of accoutrement, right? Emotional, psychiatric, spiritual, identity, conformity, chaos, anarchistic even, right? Tendencies are all within the field of a belief, right? How you roll, what you like. And how about prior to that? Before you are sufficiently congealed to even have a belief, what are you? You can just drop completely out of the sense of even being capable of possessing beliefs. Otherwise, it's easy to get tangled in, right, our beliefs, the ones that we like, the ones that we don't like, the ones that we would like to change, the beliefs I would like you to change about yourself or about me. You know, that's when we jump into everyone else's business. We want them to change their beliefs to suit, you know, our comfort. But what if you untether from the tar baby of even being entitled to a belief?
It seems like there's got to be a lot of stillness to be untethered still.
Well, here you are. Really, with, you know, with whatever you got. Here you are with whatever you got. And right? I mean, are you really inhabiting this moment as a person, as a creature, as the consequence of beliefs? Are any of your beliefs, can any single one of them be held responsible or accountable for this being as it is? Not a one. So even though you may be in a place, in a space, and being on the receiving end of, let's say, some kind of data field, or you have, you know, the effulgent aliveness of discerning consciousness.
On the receiving end, you are the data field.
Yes, you can put it both ways, right? Receiving or are.
How would you be receiving?
Well, you take yourself as a body, a mind, a person, right? You know, the presence of discerning consciousness. And so you can feel as if you're on, right, receiving.
Well, yeah, if you're
Right.
crazy.
Yes.
Like everybody.
Yeah. Well, this is
We're all pretty crazy.
it's not important necessarily whether you're receiving or you are that, you know. It's just, this is so, and must you inhabit this from the point of view of being a creature? Being at risk, being responsible, having to have even a single belief?
You know, I find that as I go along and there's certain things, it's not a thought process, it's just this sense, this feeling or whatever, of a certain depth. And when I say depth, I guess I mean maybe truth or something real, something that rings, there's something that's irrefutable. And then I have, like mostly of other stuff, just stuff, you know, that doesn't seem to go anywhere. And
Yeah.
I would say that if it makes any sense, you know, I sort of am learning to trust that depth. But, you know, if I would actually try to say it to anybody outside this room, it would be very hard to express. I mean, for them to understand what I'm getting at. And I almost sometimes have to question myself, am I going out on a limb here? This is just, you know, it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah,
You inhabit your own experience with, you know, let's just say varying degrees of confidence.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, vacillating.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, to speak to these observations, issues, I have issues, right? I mean, to speak about the, what would you say, the curious texture of consciousness, I don't know, requires a certain kind of madness, right?
And a certain kind of willingness, in a sense, to allow yourself to be the center of it all. Because I could certainly talk to, say, my wife.
Yes.
And she would see it, probably, who knows, as me being the center of the universe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite likely. But there it is. You know, I am who I am. I mean, you know, but the center of the universe is just, you can expand into whatever.
Hmm. Hmm. So let's say there's a self or a sense of self that could turn out to be fond of something called freedom, right? So this sense of self wants freedom to appear as a symptom to itself, as an accoutrement of some kind, right? And so naturally we fetishize or objectify something as luscious as freedom from the point of view of something happening. I'm not really sure, you know, it's difficult to nail down what you might mean by freedom or what you might mean for yourself by the word peace or fuck enlightenment or something weird like that. You know, what do you mean by that? How does it roll? You know, how would you like it to visit upon you or occur? You know, what superhero or sage, you know, would you like to emulate? You know, I mean, are you kind of a Green Lantern enlightened person or like an Aquaman enlightened person, Wonder Woman maybe for some?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
I have an infinity ring.
Yeah. See,
So
right. So what do we,
more like the Green Lantern?
you know, okay, so peace,
Yes.
freedom,
I
compassion,
want a pink Superman
equanimity,
cape still.
stream entry, right? Non-dual, right? Jhanic subtlety, twirling dervishes,
What kind of superhuman power do you want?
Yeah. right? You want to run really fast like the Flash, you know?
Maybe that's why people like superhero stuff so much.
Yeah. Yeah, because their powers are somewhat defined.
Well,
It's easy.
They feel that way. We feel like really minuscule and sort of.
Yeah, and our powers were random at best.
Random access, useless
Yeah.
powers. Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Well, yeah, if you're like, you know, little tiny person running around in an average life, if that's really what you take yourself to be,
Mm-hmm.
it's not looking too superhuman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like pretty pathetic mostly. You know what I mean?
Yes. Could be.
Hearing about like people, so-called enlightened people, people say, oh, well, there's nobody there, you know, but wouldn't that be true of everybody? So why would that be more? So then,
It's really interesting to see how so-called enlightened people strut their stuff, right? Whether on a more intimate, you know, basis where they're not teaching or proving anything, right? Taking your money in exchange for some kind of, you know, experience, right? Or
yeah,
just
just
or
need something to do, some reason to get out of bed.
yeah, you know, or Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
because our pathetic little lives suck. We need something so we can get out of bed.
So we might as well become an enlightened teacher, because like,
may as well.
how much more, so much television you watch.
There's only so much television you can watch.
Or you hear about, they have a flow of emptiness, or, or,
Yeah.
but then, and then it's funny, like, filtering it through my active ego, sometimes I'll feel like, oh, that was it, you come back, like,
Yeah.
like the Avatar thing, like, you're back, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But, I don't know what I'm saying.
Neither do we. That's okay.
Just drifting.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the ultimate is there's nobody there and there's nothing going on, then how can you even sort of identify enlightened people?
Oh. Yeah,
I'm not saying you are, I'm just saying.
No, yeah, I don't know. You might have to check their buttocks for the Circle E.
Oh, Cabbage Patch stamp.
Circle E Ranch.
Circle E Ranch. Psh, goes on hot.
I read some articles we did said, people who use psychedelics are less likely to be suicidal. I was wondering, like, why? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
That?
Too.
You saw that too?
Yeah, I don't remember where.
It was a tweet. It was one of my tweets.
It was a tweet.
I don't
This
know.
stuff goes around, if it's
Yeah.
gonna be one place,
It's gonna be
it's gonna be
another.
all over.
You could go the other way, right? If you've done hallucinogens,
Yeah.
and you might be like more easeful when it came to suicide.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
that
that's,
too.
I think, isn't that the what's behind, what they say about so many of the antidepressants? There is an increased risk of suicide sometimes.
Mhm.
And I think it's because it's like,
What the
what's
hell?
the big deal,
Well, that could be true.
Yeah.
that-
It's like their active depression is lifted, but it's because they're not investing in all of this stuff so much. It's like,
Yeah, well, some
Give me
people
some of
say,
that.
they start feeling, like that start feeling good enough to take action. Some people say that.
yeah. I kind
Oh.
of like the other.
They have a little more energy now. They can actually
Yeah.
conjure the energy to get out of bed and kill themselves.
Really?
Exactly, yeah, like it
I can tie a knot.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I actually have enough energy to get out of bed and get a rope.
Yeah.
Tie a knot. Get a
Mom, I'm
chair.
going out to the hardware store. Oh, that's good.
I'm feeling better.
Somebody's surrounded to a razor blade.
Really? Thinking of going climbing? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got this nice thick nylon, couple of carbiners, biners.
I mean, because it's like interesting, like with the psychedelics, like what would make people, maybe because they know that if it's a multiverse, like I always feel better when I get up and remember a dream. I sort of feel like, okay, there's some more worlds in this, so that's cool.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's time to go to the Greyhound station and just grab a toothbrush, head out. Do something completely out of character, right? Go to Nogales, see if Don Juan might show up at the Greyhound station.
Yeah, it used to be easy to know about this. You could just walk over to the end border and then walk back.
Yeah.
You gotta have a passport and
I know. Yeah.
You gotta scale a
get
wall.
kidnapped over there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a,
Just because your mind is capable of free associating and illuminating itself with remarkable chatter doesn't mean you have to give it any attention.
Yeah.
You know, so what that you can think faster than Speedy Gonzales?
Yeah, I see it sometimes as a palliative.
Mm-hmm.
Get a giggle and a chuckle out of it. And maybe because the moment is a little bit too much.
Yeah. Well, this is, I mean, part of the yogas, regardless of which one, they will naturally cultivate, a different orientation to present experience. You don't have to make a big issue out of being, even keeled or something silly like that, or whatever transcendental meditation promises you, like lower blood pressure, higher creativity, less sleep, greater likelihood of meeting someone interesting at a bar.
Less
We
temper
should get that guy
tantrums.
here and see what he has to say.
Who?
Maharishi Mahesh Yogi,
Yeah.
We'd have to bring him back up.
Get some, yeah,
back from the dead.
he's dead.
Long.
Uh,
He's dead.
We'll get someone that can
Yeah.
channel him. Don't worry.
And his ashram was closed to Westerners in the 80s. Now it's just for the Indians. He says, you
thought he was in
can see him
Iowa
in the
now.
United States.
People are.
Yeah, they're-
It was Rishikesh. And they said, no, you're not allowed in here.
It's certainly an international organization at this point.
That was 1985. But it's interesting. Interest is focused in one area, and then all this attention, and then it gets to be a burden, and then the gates are closed because all this attention is it's a misattention in a way. Would I want that kind of attention? No, I would not. It's a burden. I kind of like being anonymous, and once in a while, kind of standing out, and then being anonymous again. It would kind of be a drag.
Are you talking about like being involved in a sales organization like TM or Osho?
Being Jim Carrey or somebody that everyone can
Celebrity.
recognize. Yeah, celebrity of sorts, whether it's a spiritual celebrity or just, some famous face. It would be like all this importance. It's like, oh, you know who I saw at Starbucks today?
And not
Mel
only
Gibson.
not only important, but you got to toe the line of whatever it is you said in the past. Because at this point, you can't go back on what you said, or you won't be consistent. You'll be
Your
seen as a
beliefs are
fraud.
documented and then they.
That's right, and they'll throw it back in your face.
And then you're Paula Dean and you're like totally.
Well, that reminds me of Picasso's dilemma. He'd do something and they say, that's brilliant, do more of that. And he'd say, no, don't. He'd do something else. Oh, that's even better, do more of those. I'm done with that. But yeah, there is that achieving sort of a peace in the human condition. And then accomplishment, and the hero worship, the superhero, and boy, wouldn't it be nice if I had these powers? Well, maybe not. Then everyone would be like knocking down your door saying, why didn't you save that?
Yeah.
Why were you hanging out in the coffee shop and not saving Mars?
Well, that's the old Jesus Christ superstar thing, right? When you're-
Yeah, leave me alone, for Christ's sake. I'm just getting a massage.
From the 70s called Resurrection, where she had healing powers and that.
Ellen Burstyn.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
It was good.
Yeah,
Which one?
spooky. Resurrection, I think it was called.
Yes. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't think I saw it.
She finally found peace in perfect anonymity.
Mhm.
Oh, that wasn't the one where she could heal, and
Mhm.
she was on the side of the road. she found she had this just kind of joint, on the side of the road, and the person came by and she sort of healed the little kid.
Yes.
At the end of
That's
the
it?
movie, she does.
Oh, that was
with
terrific. I loved
cancer.
that.
Yeah.
That's called Resurrection.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
was what it was.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
That was a cool movie because that's what happened to her.
Mm.
But she wasn't towing the line with the religious faith,
Mhm.
so they were letting her have it.
Let's see
No, I
that.
think she was getting weaker, or am I thinking of the Dead Zone? I forget.
My memory of it is that she was a healer, but she wasn't attributing it to Jesus or God or something like that. She just said, "This is what I do. I can
Yeah.
heal," but she wasn't, from what I can remember, attributing it to their particular faith. So they got, where's this coming from?
Yeah, they got hijacked.
If it's not from the source,
Right.
proper authority, then it must be from the other.
Yeah.
But that falls back on the belief and how endless that loop is of satisfaction and dissatisfaction, conflict. Talk about freedom. It's like, I have the belief of beliefs, now I'm free. Uh-oh, somebody found me out. They want to steal it. I go on to run now, I'm fugitive. It's crazy.
We occupy our present engagement, the quality of being, through anecdotal representation, which is, fantasy. So the yoga, whatever the means and handles are, is to discover something, you could say tangible, palpable, reliable, felt. Just here, just now. Somehow you could say relax or take some joy. Nachas, it's called in Yiddish, right? From this moment. And it's not psychiatric, you see. When we're dwelling in abstraction or hypotheticals or storytelling or reminiscences, that's psychiatric. That's a movement of, memory and association. I mean, it's sparkly, it's spontaneously arising, but it's kind of content driven, right? So our attention then is with content.
Is it possible to have content and no content?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So your attention is just as capable of feeling yourself, feeling that this is so, and you can become just as fascinated or delighted in the textural observation that this is so, which is felt.
So content doesn't negate anything.
No, it can't. Yeah. Yeah. Content is always at hand because this is so imaginative.
Always at hand?
Always. Sure. Yeah. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form, right? It's not like there's a few moments in the day where the emptiness is predominant. Though a yogi that gets up at 3:30 in the morning, to do her ritual would say, oh yeah, it's pretty content chill,
Yeah.
I would think
right?
so.
At
Yeah, sometimes
3:30 in the
it
morning.
seems content chill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So there can be times of the day or places to go, right? Or nice clothing that you enjoy wearing that assists you in being content free. Yeah. But again, being content free could suggest the refusal of something. And that's not it's not a very viable approach. Refusal can never really be a very viable approach. You want to accentuate the positive, meaning you feel yourself present and you discover strangely that it's enjoyable to feel yourself present, to relax in your own atmosphere, your own auric signature, if you will. And that holds your interest, it holds your fascination. It's not boring or restless. You are you. And as you are you, and you relax or enjoy being you are you, you organically untether from content. You untether from belief, superstition, anecdotal reference, hypothetical situations, comparisons, all the beautiful stuff of mind.
Yeah, so many hypotheticals. But wait, what about this?
Yeah, right. And I mean, that's what mind is. Mind is more or less, wait, what about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking about Daisy would notice something out of the ordinary on a walk
Mhm.
and would start barking because one thing is out of place
Mhm.
and bringing attention to it. And I'm thinking of it now because that's like my mind in a way. If I'm in that more of a survival mode or
Right.
that attention that like I need to notice these things. I need to compare what's expected to what is not expected.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a, not accusing you of anything, but for all of us, that's kind of a, neurotic condition, right?
You just start barking for no reason.
That's right.
Like there's a stick here.
So you can be, let's just say, perfectly yourself, perfectly present, which is nothing special. I mean, I'm not, don't do anything. and curiously disinterested in hypotheticalism.
Your own neurosis.
Yeah, you can actually feel yourself unafflicted by your own charming neurosis.
Because you're an engineer with that, because engineers are trained to use their minds to think of hypotheticals.
What is that? What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, well, I have a part of my brain is one of the.
Are you talking about yourself?
No, it's just a little part.
Mm-hmm.
When it's active,
I know what you mean.
when it's active,
I-
I've been accused, and I confess, of coming up with scenarios just one after the other. I'm thinking, oh my God, you have such a busy mind. All these scenarios are coming up.
That's hypotheticalism.
Right.
Yeah, it's
And
analytical.
that's not a good engineering. No, that's the neurotic, never-ending sort of like I need to, or
Does that ever go away or what?
well, fortunately, it's not active a lot of times. When it is, it's busy. It's distracting in a way.
Well,
Because like you said, there's this. And the hypothetical is really busy with conjuring out of imagination and going, wait a minute, don't bother me right now, I'm busy with my inner world, and the world is very alive around you. I mean, I used to argue back and say, well, that's just as valid. But I think it's like artificial sweetener or something. You're amusing yourself, and the world is happening around you in far vaster, and I would say satisfying ways, but that's kind of, I don't know, that might create another.
Yeah,
loop
what
that
if
just
it's all the
keeps going
same?
On and on and on.
Yeah, it's like an obsessive compulsive disorder, you know, it just always sort of, and I have it too, so,
Well, this is obsessive compulsive.
yeah. Mhm.
You know, reality is, you know, obsessive compulsive.
Yeah, I once saw this like Buddhist nun lady. She was from Asia and she was teaching a all-day retreat. I think it was just focusing on the breath, or and somebody said, well, when I wake up, I like to, you know, sit there and think of my dreams or something like that. And she's like, well, that's just you, like, you know, you're being controlled by your mind, you know, like you just don't give that any kind of thought, you know, like. So I got the sense that like she was just so like into, you know, being present-minded, whatever that means, and not like sort of being entertained by reverie in any way.
They can sometimes present that way,
Yeah.
you know, which is kind of silly because, I mean, this is an ongoing reverie.
Mm-hmm.
Why tether yourself to a certain stratagem of present mindfulness to the exclusion of, you know, the immersive invitation to reverie? Why dismiss reverie as being?
I don't know. Why dismiss reverie? I mean,
Well,
it's a
that's
question.
Yeah, that's part of their, you know, that's part of their training.
But I mean, I guess there is this sort of like more,
It's another.
whatever this means, more non-dual feel to like melding with the senses.
Yeah. Well, right. It's pretty.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Confused.
It's pretty basic,
Yeah.
right? Here's yourself. You feel yourself. You notice that feeling yourself is not psychiatric.
Yeah, and the question is if you're in reverie, can you feel yourself not being psychiatric? Like that's generally
Well,
psychiatric, I guess.
I don't know. I you know, I mean, I wake up a lot early.
Yeah.
I like waking up.
Yes,
And I like
you
when
tell
you
us
sleep.
about it a lot.
Those transitions are just beautiful.
Yeah,
And-
I feel it. I do. I'm
And
just playing with
you can't,
ideas.
it's hard to argue
I'm
with that kind of stuff.
hypotheticals.
yeah. So you feel yourself with whatever skill sets or magical resources are at your disposal. And you can notice that feeling yourself attenuating to presence of experience is not psychiatric, is not referential, is not hypothetical, it's not anecdotal.
It's definitely not running the show.
And it has its own, you could say, vocabulary, right? Textural vocabulary, feeling vocabulary. You're aware of the qualitative difference in your experience, or we could say in mind, when, don't ever call me here, when you're just feeling yourself. Nice ring.
I see this big bell telephone.
It's the only one it's got, so.
And this, you could say this texture of stillness, receptivity. Speaks to you. It's self-revelatory, self-educating. The the gift of, let's call them convergent lineages of transmission, is the gift of, one human sharing freedom from content with a so-called other human. I mean, that's why you would go see, Krishnamurti, even to fill Felt Forum or Carnegie Hall or, a venue. Thousands, right? Thousands in a venue. You would go because, either accompanying the teaching or underneath the teaching was a certain kind of generosity. To tune into the gift of feeling yourself relaxed from hypotheticalism and anecdotal reference. So if Rupert Spear is good at what he does, he's able to convey, not so much through the teaching, but through a vibratory resonance. Enough radiation, enough exposure to that radiation gets under your skin. You find yourself capable of being self-generating. Rather than the many decades, let's say, it may take that one goes to be in the company of an other or others, right? To orient their meditation, to orient their contemplation to presence relieved of self.
Would you say it's really relieved of self, or just more kind of like not really concerned?
They can be mutually exclusive or the same thing. It's up to you, right? You play with it as you wish. We feel ourselves, let's say, with enough frequency, sufficient frequency, right? Sufficient frequency and sufficient depth. We learn to feel ourselves relieved of hypotheticalism and anecdotal projection. We're like, oh, wow, that feels like that. I feel like that. That doesn't suck. And right over a certain period of repetition, association, radiation, stumbling, failing, getting back up again, right? It could include formal practice of, meditations and yogas and all kinds of things. Why not? So all of these activities assist you in slowly, gradually being self-generating. That you discover, oh, wow, shit. I mean, I didn't even go to Wayne's house today, and I feel this shit. How the fuck did that happen? I missed the Peter Brown lunch, but wow, this shit is real. I thought I was getting it from him, but whoa, it's here. I'm by myself and it's here. Wow. That rocks. And I mean, all the Genesis stories of, people that have grown in confidence of this texture, all their stories are very similar. Rupert hung out with Francis Lucille, and Francis Lucille hung out with Jean Klein, and Jean Klein hung out with a Sanskrit scholar in India. And I don't know who that guy hung out with, but he hung out with somebody, right? And sometimes this arises spontaneously and self-generating without,
Like Krishnamurti or something like that.
Well, Krishnamurti had all kinds of crazy training and initiations. Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, some people say, Jesus was self-generating, and others suggest that, as a younger man, he wandered in the East.
There's no self-made gurus, I guess.
Well, that chick that was going to get a cigarette.
Yeah, no, she's one.
That's awesome.
Totally self-made, yeah.
I envy her. Because I would just want that to be my story.
I know.
I
know.
So that
Yolande.
all the people that think that smoking is bad and there's no way that could ever get you anywhere and be like,
yeah.
Hey, fuck you. Yeah, one time on my way to get a cigarette.
Yeah.
Oh, like those people who were just sort of
So we're in a weave. We're in a weave. We're in this together is one way to look at it. And the interest is a very similar interest. It's like, oh, can this wild shit actually not fucking bother me so much? That's one motive. Then there are other stranger motives that you may not even be aware of or conscious or cognizant of. Some other force of nature is flowing through you so that you would give up your precious time, your precious autonomy to do this shit.
Well, I got nothing to do.
Could be that. What's interesting is you hang out in the texture of yourself. You can still free associate, of course. No one and nothing is stopping you. You could look into the texture and quality of your present experience and learn something from it. You know, ask a question about it, right? Engage with your own mysterious observation. It's not as easy as recalling, you know, a movie. That's easier, you know, because like a memory, you know, outburst is easier to get going, right? It's a little more intimate. It's a little challenging to say, oh, what the fuck am I feeling right now?
It might
You know?
not be automatic, or it might not be.
Yeah, you have to kind of get used to it and feel comfortable exploring the texture of your present experience and speak right out loud, or ask a question out loud, or what's the word, muddle through, or you know, yeah. That's not something that we're ever encouraged to do.
We're discouraged to do it, I mean, most of our lives.
That's right. We are discouraged from feeling ourselves and then kind of free associating out loud. That's right, about the texture of experience.
Well, there definitely seems like there's a, well, definitely might be an overstatement, difference between like this sort of analytical stuff and the quality of something else that comes from.
Yeah, you get to look at yourself absolutely fresh. Your present experience is showing up absolutely fresh. If something like memory is haunting us, then that's reference. That's a false flag event. Memory is always a false flag event. But your actual experience, whatever that implies, is not. It's fresh. It's presenting to you forthwith, heretofore. Right in your lap. Yeah.
I do get stuck though a lot. On a daily basis, I go into an addictive behavior of, I don't know, just getting diverted in some stupid thing, some research. I could just go into a trip where I'm like researching something or looking, investigating something. I don't need to do it. In fact, I really shouldn't be doing it. You know, I should be doing my job. You know.
We'll
You should always be doing
we'll
something
disavow
else.
all knowledge of what
That's
really
what I
floats your
recommend
boat.
I mean,
Always.
I just,
You're probably
more I
in the
don't
right
wanna do
place
that,
at the wrong
the
time,
more I
or
do
vice
want to do
versa.
this, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
and I just get
Well,
so
you're the only person with that problem.
Yeah, that's unique.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. You should write a blog about it.
It's so, I find it so hard to get on.
Well, and now with all the technology and look anything up you ever wanted to know.
There's
Oh,
part of my brain that knows what I can get away with. I mean, it knows.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to do anything till next week, and you'll be okay. And my mind is saying, no,
That's how I
this is
got
what you're
through high
gonna
school.
do today, and you're gonna set it up so you don't miss these goals. Just sail right on by.
Sail right on by.
I get one thing done where I want to get 4 things done. It's just
Yeah.
excruciating.
Well, if it's all just doing itself, then all that self-talk like, come on, get it together. We don't even have to have that, right?
Yeah, but then it's like giving in. It's like, oh, well, I won't do anything. It's like,
Yep.
You just figure, you've gotten this far in life so far.
well, see, there is this notion of getting lost in all this. And in that case, being obsessive about something. And I can even I'll even catch myself counting things, that's the kind of
Oh, yeah.
obsessiveness.
My
you know?
mother does that stuff.
It's like, why do I have to keep counting? I mean, I don't care how many rungs there are,
That's real OCD.
Yeah. I know. But there's a certain something where your attention is fixed on something. And so I'm putting that in the context of like what I keep referring back to, like waking up and just sort of hanging out with different states or whatever. And I mean, there's something that's similar, but there's something vastly different about it though. In the only case, I guess I'm just exploring, it's just more of a mental activity. In the other case, it's not really mental or psychiatric. I guess we could use that term.
Yeah, you feel this. Your attention is happily partnered with feeling your present experience. And there's a certain fullness and novelty to that,
Yeah.
which we have to be exposed to, read about, learn about, practice, right? Study, consider, strengthen the muscle of present attentivity.
There's something in that Stan Hunter, is that his name?
Yes.
Where he was saying something about like saying to yourself, what was it like before I had that thought?
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one to play with. I believe.
Well, here's, these get-togethers is a cauldron. It's, this is a padded room.
Oh, a panic room.
A padded.
It could be that too.
It's all the same.
Padded room, panic room. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. To do it. Right. Because we're not necessarily encouraged to feel this at home or in the workplace or whatever. So this is a chance to really lean into yourself. See what shows up. What kind of protests might show up? What kind of distractions might occur?
Just those thought streams that are like, wait, what about this? What about this?
Yep. This is a chance, a good
Wait, I'll
opportunity.
stop them now. I'll stop them.
Mhm. Yeah, you can use these sessions, if you will, as a way of outing your distraction strategies.
Yeah, that's what this is.
It's kind of a nice space to see them in very clearly.
Yeah. Right. There's if we're capable of creating a certain buoyancy, a certain humor, non-judgmental field for you to feel yourself, see what that's like, notice, distraction tendencies, avoidant tendencies.
Judgmental, whatever, can be a very strong one though.
Yes.
So that might be present anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, it's an external expressive as opposed to sitting on a mat and labeling, planning or something like that.
Yeah. It's very easy to get lost
Yeah.
in yourself and run these strategies without, the benefit of a certain kind of intervention. This is a voluntary intervention, right? Rather than us coming to your house and sitting you down because you fucking lost it, right? You show up
Yeah.
voluntarily to a group intervention, an egalitarian intervention.
And that's why it's not going to be popular. How many people want to subject themselves to an intervention?
Very few.
They're not very successful, I don't think. There's a lot of research that's supported.
Well, that's because it comes from the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
It's from you.
It's because I think a lot of the conditioning says content is value. And when someone asks me, well, what did you get out of tonight? What's the, what would
Who
you, I
remembers?
said same thing.
Yeah.
Well, what
The same
what is that?
thing I get every night. How to take over the world.
Match your distraction strategy.
But see, that's the irony. It's not seen as a distraction. It's like,
No,
no, I'm very purposeful. I have a goal and
yeah.
step by step, every day in every way, I'm going towards that goal. And then the payoff is that determination and persistence will lead to my breakthrough.
If there is something worth calling freedom, it's a fair question to say, well, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, what is it?
What is it? Freedom from what? Freedom for whom? What does it feel like? How does it, why would I value it? Right? Why would I submit myself voluntarily to a, group intervention just to out all of the strategies which, thrive in my own private Idaho because I'm not really willing to, cop to them or cope with them in a way that releases them from, or releases me from the bondage of those strategies.
Maybe that's the way I should put it to other people. Like, oh, why do you go there? It's an intervention. Oh, well, I can't.
I could use the intervention, couldn't you? I mean, that's pretty honest, really. I value the intervention.
Yeah.
I like taking a knee to something which takes me out of
Yeah.
my own head, takes me out of my own ideation, challenges me to feel my experience through a different lens, right?
But not with a whole different set of beliefs. You know?
No,
That's
no.
That's
That's
the difference.
That's
That's
the relieving part.
that's why
Actually.
I'm not going to Scientology classes.
Okay. Yeah, this is not about belief replacement therapy, right? It's about, you could say, belief cessation therapy, if you wanted to refer to it as a therapy. Belief cessation therapy. Well, where do you go on those? Belief cessation therapy. What?
I'll try that Sunday morning when I'm at our friends.
Yeah.
That term's a Polar Express right on the end.
Belief cessation.
One wants to find out what is real, what is true. Is there an ultimacy, right, to the curious or dubious gift of my sentient experience? Is there a takeaway? Right? Is there the possibility of a, bless you, remarkable way of being? That's a fun adventure. I mean, that's a bit of a cliffhanger. And even though there's such a proliferation, a profuse proliferation of spoken word, written word, right? Institutions all over the countryside that dedicate themselves to this adventure. Still, it requires a certain kind of, I don't know, intimacy or availability to really go through with it. It's easy to get lost at a retreat center. It's easy to get lost in the body of some kind of teaching.
Or even meditation without inquiry.
Yes, because it's easy to fool ourselves and get taken up by these very, very crafty distraction strategies that make us feel like, oh, this is something, and I'm going to get the most out of it. We don't really, or at least few of us, want to really be challenged that intimately.
Yeah.
Right? Get what out of what? What do you want to get from this? Right? What's your golden ring? Maybe we should just go to the Ramana Maharshi diaper store and see if by walking around in one of those, for a week, I'll start to, stare out the window more. Hey, this diaper really works.
That's right. Okay. New workshop. Weave your own dhoti.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, well, oneself gets pretty tedious after a while, so,
What does?
oneself.
Oh. That's why we come back. Try on new personality.
Do you accept $2 bills?
Oh, of course we do. The church loves all.
I'd rather have a $3 bill.